Hello, guys, and welcome to our video. Hi, Robert.
How you doing?
This is a very cordial opening, really.
That's right.
We've got a preview here from Fantasy Flight for the Game of Thrones living card game, and it's introducing, I don't know that they've spoiled the castle line yet. I think we've seen one other in like a preview.
Yeah.
But it's the castle plot line, basically. So we've seen cities, we've seen rivers, and this is what I think is one of many castle plots to come down the next cycle.
Let's hope, man.
Which seems really cool.
Yes.
The cycle does seem really cool with all the House Heir and stuff.
A lot of turtling.
It's called Naming the Heir. 2 gold, 2 initiative, 1 claim. Awful stats. Awful.
Right off
That's
the bat.
just
Let's
bad.
get that out of the way.
That's not terribly dissimilar from like a Valor almost.
Yeah,
I mean, the
that's
0 claim matters. But.
Yeah.
Castle. That's what is traded. After this plot is placed in your use pile, and that will happen so the next turn after you play it. Search the top 10 cards of your deck for a non-army character.
Non-army.
With printed cost 4 or higher. Must be 4 or higher. And put it into play. Then shuffle your deck.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. And you know what? The interesting thing about these castle plots, especially, exclusively this one, because we don't know a whole lot about the rest of them. I assume this is going to be the mechanic that all the castle plots use.
Like when it enters your use pile. Yeah.
Yes. So it's like a 1-turn delay from something like a city plot where it's like immediately get this awesome meal effect. This one would be like get a stronger effect, but the next turn.
Yeah.
And have to deal with these bad resources in the meantime. But, I mean, so let's say we pop out a 4 gold non-army with this.
Right.
It's essentially a 6 gold plot. It's just got a delay on it.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about that with Game of Thrones for me is it's very much, especially in challenges, a game of momentum.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? So, like, if I'm able to win that intrigue challenge, then maybe I got the event out of your hand that now allows me to win the military challenge, which then allows me to win a power challenge.
Just snowballs.
Which then allows me to build my board even more next turn, and then you have to Valor and those kinds of things. So that's all very interesting to me to consider how that's going to play out, because the resource advantage is huge.
Yeah.
But the slowing of the momentum is just trouble, because 2 gold is 2 gold.
And is it worth it?
Is it worth it?
I'll ask you directly. Do you think it's worth putting a character of that cost into play, albeit non-army, to wait a turn to get essentially a 4+ gold boost?
Yeah, I think non-army makes this a little difficult. And I have to wonder if even we're really blown away by some of these newer 3-cost characters that are bringing the heat. Danny the great example. Is it because this castle line is going to be so prevalent or strong in the next cycle? In a way to kind of balance those costs. So that could be a consideration. I think if you get a 4 cost, I think there's a lot of those really fantastic 4-cost unique characters. Right. Lannister certainly can speak to them. Cersei and your Sir Ellen Paynes. Just the stuff that you don't ever actually want to play, but that you really would love to have in play. Yeah. I think there's a lot of those kinds of guys in every category, every house. Yeah. You have your Balins and your Eurons and stuff.
Balin.
It's like the guy that you wish was 3. Yeah. That at this point in the game needs to be 3 costs to compete. But as a 4-coster, it's like, I could include him. It also plays really well with the agenda we know is coming, the aloof and apart. Yeah. That really focuses on those 4-cost characters that you're going to have in your deck. That's true. And that becomes an issue because you don't want them to clog up your draw and your setup, but you want to find them. And searching the top 10, you should see 1.
That's right. Yeah,
reasonably. So there's a lot of things to consider.
There's a lot going on here. Yeah.
The one thing, whenever I see this card, is I ultimately wonder if you and I both reveal a plot. I reveal Valor. The use pile has been placed on my use pile. I put the guy in. Does it happen after the Valor or before the Valor is the question. And this is something that, we just need to look at the windows.
I want to say it's after, because, whenever I'm playing, or before the Valor, excuse me. Yeah. So I think it's before, because whenever I'm playing city plots and I reveal, when I've revealed that previous plot is already in my use pile, and I'll count it for doing the math on the new city plot that I just revealed. Yeah. So I would imagine that if it came into play on a turn that somebody else is valoring, it would get nuked by the Valor.
Here's the other question with that, however, is so let's say we both reveal our plots. This moves to the use pile, which initiates what will eventually be a passive, right? Right. But the first framework that you do is resolve the win revealed effects. Okay. Right? So you resolve the win revealed effects, and you do all your plot stuff, and then you have passive abilities,
Yeah.
like Golden Tooth Mines.
That's true.
And then you have responses.
Mm-hmm.
So with the Valor Initiate, everything goes moribund, and then save cancel responses. Then you have the passive ability, which is I just placed this in my use pile. I put a dude in who is not moribund and not going to die, and then resolve responses. So like there's two ways I can see it working, and that's the question mark that I have. But I want to say that
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, exactly. It's always a bit of a puzzle. I think if this guy comes in after the Valor resolves, or after any plot when revealed effects resolve, this makes this plot even better. Makes it really good. If it comes in and can get nuked by like a city plot or a Valor or something that your opponent has revealed, then it's less good to me.
Yeah.
But ultimately, man, we get a cool plot. We've got the best looking version of Joffrey that I've ever seen.
Oh my god, he looks like a beast.
He actually looks like somebody who is reasonable.
Yeah.
We think that's the
reasonable,
Joff, right?
and even awesome. Yeah, I can only assume. Now, one quick caveat before we derail too much is that the combination of these cards with plot cycling is a whole new ball game.
Yeah,
whole new ball.
That's actually quite saddening to me.
Yes,
it's one of my single least favorite mechanics that is just going to get ludicrous with
That's
this.
true.
I mean, because we've seen it with Wheels Within Wheels.
Yeah,
we've seen it with Ari. We've seen it with the plot cycle Ari, and we've seen it with Bran. We've seen basically every amount of trouble that can be caused. Even Maesters kneeling, Citadel line, and doing the thing. That is how this is going to get used. You know it, I know it. Everybody knows it. You're going to drop this thing, then you're going to cycle out of it into a high gold plot, and you're going to get a 4-cost character on the fly right there.
Or even like you could set up with you could do this and then transition to the classic Sphere of Winter or something like that.
Yeah.
It's
I've got a dude.
Yes.
We can't do anything. And as I'm looking at this too, it's funny that naming the heir actually is quite appropriate for dragon decks. It seems like.
Oh
in
yeah.
a sense.
Search
the top 10, put a dragon into play. That seems pretty
solid.
Drogon. Some of those old school dragons,
What's
which
going
are
on?
really good. Or Danny, Danny gets in there too. Valerian, there it is. Thanks, Robert.
Ugh.
All right, guys. Naming the heir. There's any number of ways and probably hours of conversation we could have as to how this is good or bad.
Is this waiting to be broken?
I mean, here's the thing about Game of Thrones. This is why you play Game of Thrones. Every card is waiting to be broken.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
It's like all bets are off. Things are moving off the table. Things are moving on the table.
Yeah.
There's silly effects happening, this, that, and the other way. But that's what Game of Thrones has always been.
It's true.
We've kid ourselves a few times thinking that this was a game about playing guys
it's a gentlemanly game
and doing challenges. But no, it's about taking the most ruthless effects and repeating them over and over in the most unfair ways you can imagine.
That's true.
And making it happen.
I agree.
Now that said, we just saw a Nationals that was Martell Quentin, relatively normal, lost Oasis and Gaston, versus a PBJ that was running good characters. So it kind of goes both ways.
Danny.
It kind of goes both ways.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. This is Naming the Heir. It's a Castle Plot. Thanks to Fantasy Flight for allowing us to continue on the Game of Thrones stream.
Upcoming Secrets and Schemes pack?
Secrets and Schemes
of the Warden cycle.
Yep.
Woo.
Wardens. And I think Wardens is going to be a cycle for Steven.
Really?
I think I'm going to dig it.
Just for you.
I just all the cards that I've seen are really cool. They're focusing a lot more on battling type things rather than like really techie and combo-y type things. Like it's not a Maester
Challengers
cycle,
are fun.
for instance.
Challengers are fun.
Exactly. So thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you later. If you want to keep us on the air, you probably don't have to do anything. But if you would like to help with that, I guess,
that enterprise
pursuit,
yeah.
then we have a fan funding available on the channel. It's in the top left of the screen. And Robert and I will be super happy if you put just some cash.
We also have the pack that this is in available for pre-order.
Yeah, we've got the whole thing.
Or you could subscribe. I mean, there's so many different ways.
We give you 1,000 ways to pitch us money. Just find one of them.
Because we like it.
So thank you guys so much. We'll see you at Worlds.